Hey y'all, it's Christy from Teadoddles, and it is time for a Saturday stitch on a Sunday. And I'll probably title it that way, just so there's no confusion when you find the title. I should only have to do this again next weekend to be able to catch up, so we can have this finished in time for Christmas. I am all the way up to where I would put the double crochet in the top of this, and I'm going to show you how to do that on this one, and I'll show you how to do the stitch setup here. I really enjoyed this stitch. It's very pretty, and I thought this is called the Treble Arch Ground Stitch. Very long name. It is simply, you've got chains, single crochet, double crochet, and slip stitches. That's all that's in here. The only tricky bit is how we do these parts here, kind of going backwards and forwards again. Now, when I first did this, I was thinking this is going way out, but I thought I'm only off one stitch. I have since realized I'm actually off 2 stitches, but it still shouldn't make that big of a difference. Ditch and stitch. Okay, so when I'm doing this one, I'm going to adjust these ends slightly, and that should bring this in a little bit. Plus, I feel that this is my practice one, and these stitches, you can tell, are much tighter than this area on this one, because I had figured out some things I needed to do to get that straight. So I think that, and this actually stretches out further than I thought it would, so I think it'll be okay. I'm gonna eliminate a stitch on each end, and we should be good. All right, and the written instructions will be down below and corrected. So let's go ahead and get started on this stitch. First thing you do for our setup row is chain 8. I'm sorry, we're going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that counts as our first double crochet, and 4, a chain 4 space. All right, and now we're going to turn, and now we're going to skip. So since this stitch is technically taken out with a double crochet, we're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th stitch we're going to put a single crochet. There we go. Now we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then double crochet in the 5th stitch from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're skipping 4 stitches. There we go. And then we're going to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet in the 5th stitch from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. All right, so we're going to be doing that all the way across, alternating our singles and our double crochets, and we should end with a double crochet here. So I'll go ahead and get that finished up and come back and we'll show you the next row. Okay, I'm all the way to this end, and for my very last area, I only chained 4 and I skipped 3 stitches and double crocheted in the last stitch. Okay, now we're going to go on to the next row, and we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to single crochet into that double crochet at the beginning. If I can catch my loop, we're going to do that. Or all right. Now we're going to put 5 single crochets into this chain 4 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we'll single crochet into the single crochet, and there'll be 3 single crochets into the beginning of this chain 5 stitch. So you don't want to go all the way across because we've got to add more stitches in a little bit. So we're just going to do 3 close together. 1, 2, 3. All right, so it should look something like this. And now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to go backwards. We're going to slip stitch in the 7th stitch previous stitch, in the 7th previous stitch, counting from here. And we do count this one under the chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the stitch we're going to be going into. And we're going to slip stitch into it. So we'll go in from the front. And then I like to kind of adjust my stitches a little bit because it can get a little weird. And then we're going to slip stitch just like that. So it's going to look a little weird at first, but we're slip stitching backwards. Now we're going to put 5 single crochets back in the right direction in this chain 3 space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that is the part that I was saying was just a little bit tricky. Once you get the hang of it, it goes pretty quick as to how you do it. It follows in the middle. It works fairly the same on the rows that we do this on. On the ends, there's a couple of rows, or one row that is a little different on the end, and that's it. All right, so now this is the rest of our chain 5 space we began in, and we're gonna put 3 single crochets in the rest of this chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3. So if you think about it kind of like this, we put 6 into this space, or well, we put 5 into that space because there's a stitch missing, and then we put 6 here. It's just this goes in between, if that makes sense. Maybe that doesn't make it more confusing. All right, so once we get those 3 in there, then we're going to single crochet in this double crochet and 6 single crochets into this chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then single crochet in the single crochet. And this is where we start our little backwards repeat. So it'll be 1, 2, 3 in the single crochets in the first part of the chain 5. Okay. And then we chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to count back 7 stitches and slip stitch into that 7th stitch, including this one that the chain 4 is attached to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to slip stitch from the front. We'll insert our hook from the front to the back, pull our yarn behind, and slip stitch. Now 5 single crochets back into this chain 4 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're back to where we started, and we're going to put 3 single crochet in the rest of this chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 in the top of this double crochet. All right, so that's our repeat. 6, 1, 3, backwards, forwards, 3, 1, something like that. It'll be written out in the pattern, but that is our repeat going back across here. So I'm going to go all the way to the end, and then I'll come back and we'll do the next row. Okay, I'm all the way to the end, and I've done my chain 4 and slip stitched and come back my 5 stitches, and now on the other side of these 3 single crochets we're going to only put 2 single crochets because we only have 4 chains on this end. 1, 2, and then we'll put a single crochet in the top of this chain 3 space, which counts as a double crochet. And I do like to go through the chain for endings, just to hold that end a little snugger. All right, and I think taking out that stitch on each end is going to make this a little better and not be bowed out quite so much. This stitch here is just a tight stitch. It really draws it in, but this stretches much better than the other one I did, and that's just because sometimes when I'm practicing things, I don't pay as much attention, I guess, or I pay too much attention. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Let's go ahead and get this next row going. Let's see. We did our base, and we did that one, and we did that one. So we are on row 37 in the pattern. So chain 1 and turn. And we're going to single crochet in that first stitch. So this is going to be our chains, single and double crochets again. And we're going to, hold on, I'm in the wrong spot in my pattern. Let's see, we did 1, 2, oh, so technically we've done 3, okay. 1, 2, 3, and no, it should be here. This is not correct. Okay, I guess I must be right here. That's pretty bad when you get lost in your own pattern, isn't it? Give me just a second. Okay, finally got in the right place, y'all. This is row 36 now, row 37. All right, so we chained 1, turned, and a single crochet in the first stitch, chain 5, 4 on the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to single crochet. In the pattern, it's going to tell you to skip so many stitches. But basically, we're going to, not single crochet, double crochet in the center stitch of this little arc, because there's 5 stitches here. So we're going to double crochet into that center stitch. There we go. And then we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to single crochet in the stitch over this double crochet. So this alternates from the one we did before. You have single, double, single, and below you, the one before you had double, single, double. Okay, so now we're going to do the chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to double crochet in that 1, 2, 3, third or middle stitch of this little arch here. All right, so we're going to do that all the way across, and I'll come back at the end and then we'll get started on the next row. Okay, I've made it all the way to the other end, and my only difference on the end is I chain 4 and then a single crochet in the end stitch instead of the 5 space. All right, so let's get started on row 37. This one's going to be a little different on the ends. It's going to do that back and forth to finish, to fill in the corners, so it's going to work a little bit differently than the previous row that went across the chains. All right, so we're going to chain 1, turn, single crochet in that first stitch. Now we're going to 3 single crochet in the chain 5 space, keeping it on the one end, or the chain 4 space rather, sorry. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to turn. I'm just going to turn this in, but we're going to turn. And we're going to double crochet in the last stitch. right, and now we're going to chain 1. We're going to turn back going the direction we were going in the first place. Then we're going to put two single crochets in this chain 2 space. 1 and 2, just like that. So it's kind of half of what we were doing before. And then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the rest of this chain 5 space, or chain 4 space. My goodness. 1, 2. I hope I'm not confusing y'all. It's just chain 4 on each end and chain 5 in the middles. Okay. Now, I'm going to single crochet into this chain 2, this double crochet space, 6 single crochets into this chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you find you get them a little bunched up, you can always stretch these out a little bit, just like that. Now we're going to single crochet in the single crochet space, and then we're going to put 3 single crochet into this next chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go do our backwards arch. 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch 7 stitches previous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right there. This is a little tricky. You see I missed mine there. So if you want to turn your work, if that makes it easier, you can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That can make it easier to get that slip stitch in there and then turn back around. It's just going to put your yarn in the front of your work. So what you can do, since we're going to put 5 single crochet in this arch, I'll just crochet over the top of it, just like that. If I can get it to, if I can pick up my stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're gonna be right back where we were. But see, it doesn't really change the way the end of that looks. It's gonna look a little twisty because of the way we're doing it. But you can do it that way if it's easier to get that slip stitch in. And then 3 single crochet back into that chain 5 space that we started in. 1, 2, 3. And then 1 more into the double crochet. All right, so we're going to do this all the way again to the end. Well, we got to do it 2 more times, and then I'll show you how to do the end, the other end. All right. Okay, I've made it all the way to the other end, and I have single crocheted in my last double crochet. So now remember I have a chain 4 space here, so I'm going to actually put 5 single crochets in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to single crochet in this last single crochet. I've still got to build up the corner, so I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to slip stitch in the 4th previous chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. All right. So it's similar to, well, it's going to be almost exactly the same as this. So we're not going to put as many single crochets into this one. We're going to put 2 single crochets into this chain 5 space. 1, 2, like we did on the other end. and then we're going to put, this is technically like a double crochet, so we're going to put a single crochet in the top of that. All right, so now we have our corners, and this is going to look wonkly, but if we stretch it the way it's supposed to be stretched, these are supposed to be up like this, you can see how it evens out. Okay, I'm probably going to wind up blocking this, even though it's acrylic. Doing all these different stitches can make things be wonkly, but we'll be adding a border to it as well. All right, so we've got one more row, and then I will show you how to do the double crochet border. So for the next row, we're going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, come back here, stitch. Well, my goodness. 7. There we go. Turn our work. Now we're going to basically be doing like we did before. We're going to single crochet in the stitch above that double crochet. Then we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and double crochet in the center stitch in this chain 4 arch. And we're just going to do that all the way across until we get to the end. So I'll be back when I get to the end. Okay, I've made it all the way to the other end, and after my last single crochet, I chained 4 and double crochet in the last stitch. So that will give us the spacing we need. Now, in the pattern, you would repeat row 35, 36, and 37 one more time. The last row, which is 38, which is what I just did, you won't repeat, and then we'll do the double crochet. Now, I'm going to move to my other scarf to show you how to do the double crochet in the border, or between the sections. If I can get my yarn turned around correctly. There we go. Take my little stitch marker out. All right, so this one is I'm gonna have more stitches in this one because I did the ends with that extra stitch because I thought I was only 1 stitch off, but I was 2. I realized that when I started doing this one. So there's 2 more stitches in this top row than will be in the top row that you finish with, if that makes sense. But in the pattern, it will show you exactly what to skip. So we're going to do our double crochet row across. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3 and chains, and that counts as our first double crochet. We're going to turn, and I'm going to double crochet into the next stitch, and I'll be skipping that stitch. And then these sections in between have 7 stitches, so I'm going to double crochet in all 7 stitches because we've got 3 and then the 1 over the double crochet and then 3 before we started that arch. So we're going to double crochet in all of those stitches. And if you have trouble knowing which stitch to start with, if you kind of pull up on this, you can see where it's attached. So you don't want to go into that one, you want to go into the next one. So we would have 7 double crochets. 1, 2, the yarn's starting to change colors. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so here we go. It's gonna look a little gappy there, but I think that's okay because of the we're coming off of a lace pattern, so it kind of continues in the border a little bit. It's just gonna be on those. It'll be on that end, and it'll be in these these spaces here. So we're gonna just put 2 double crochets in this chain, in these 5 double, let me try that again. We're gonna put 2 double crochets within this chain 4 arc. So there's 5 single crochets in here. So I'm gonna skip a single crochet and I'm gonna put a double crochet. And I'm gonna skip a single crochet and I'm gonna put a double crochet. Just like that. And now we're back to the 7 stitch space, and we'll put 7 in there. And that's what you'll do all the way across. I've only really wanted to show this because of it being a little tricky to figure out where this actual stitch is. If you, like I said, if you pull on that, you can see that it's attached to that stitch. So you wouldn't put one in that stitch because you can kind of see it, and it may lead you to put one in there. But that's basically how that'll space out. And then we'll have the correct stitch count at the top, which should be 39, to begin our next section. And I'm not going to go all the way across with it, but I just wanted to kind of show that and show you how to find that stitch more easily. All right, now, and like I said, I would really like to do a whole, I think this will make a really pretty wrap with this stitch pattern. I just really love it. It's lacy, but it's still got a little thickness to it because we're going over all those chains. So I may be pulling out some other yarns to try that out. But that is the end of today's stitch tutorial. Now next weekend I will have a Saturday and a Sunday, and then I should be caught up and we should be able to finish this in time for Christmas. Going back and forth, we are getting pretty good distance here. It's going fairly quickly. Some of these stitches, I do have a stitch I want to do that's probably going to be more towards the middle. That one is a little intense. I started to do it for one of these current. I said, no, I'm going to wait till the middle because it just seemed like a stitch to do in the middle. But I'm really enjoying learning to do these stitches, and it's making me think of some pattern ideas for things I would like to make. I hope y'all are enjoying it too. And y'all remember to have a life lived creatively, and I will see you in the next video.